Hello, my name is Mary McConomy, and I am a doctoral student at Florida State University. Today, I'm going to share information with you about using task analysis in a classroom setting. Specifically, I will share how we use task analysis to support academic learning for students who have extensive support needs. Task analysis is an evidence-based practice for teaching students with autism and intellectual disabilities. It can increase independence by breaking chain tasks into discrete steps that can be used and individually mastered. Effective instruction for students with extensive support needs, such as autism and intellectual disabilities, is systematically implemented, adjusted based on student needs, evidence-based, uses data, and is adapted for the learner's school setting. Task analysis is an example of an instructional method that meets all of those requirements. And it's a great tool for teachers because it allows for data to be collected easily and frequently. Using a task analysis can also help students self-monitor and evaluate their learning, which supports goal setting and self-determination. The learning characteristics of individuals with autism and intellectual disabilities can help us understand the benefits they derive from task analytic instruction. For example, often they have strength in detail-focused processing and a weakness in executive functioning. Task analysis addresses both that strength and weakness. Task analysis are frequently used to support functional skills. For example, hand washing or fixing a meal, sometimes classroom procedures. However, today I'm going to focus on using task analysis for academic skills, like a literacy lesson or an inquiry-based science lesson. Task analysis can be used by the teacher for planning and for fidelity of implementation. They can also be used by students. I will show you an example of both and ways to modify the task analysis for a variety of students. Developing a task analysis begins with observation. The chained behaviors selected should be meaningful and age appropriate for the student. It can be helpful to watch a peer who's developing typically complete the process as part of the validation of the chain steps. Adaptation should only be as specialized as necessary for the learner. The steps of the process should be observable, create a change in the process or product, and communicated in a form that's meaningful to the student. Each step of the task analysis will reinforce the step that precedes it, and it's essential that the process is logically sequenced. For the example that I'm going to share, I chose a standard that addresses life cycles. It's a second grade standard, and the standard is observe and describe major stages in the life cycles of plants and animals. This standard does have access points for students who are functioning in the independent range, the supported range, and the participatory range. I'm going to share my screen with you now so that you can see the task analysis. This is an example of a task analysis that could be used by a teacher. It gives the teacher an opportunity to record individual notes for this specific lesson, but the task analysis itself could be used all year long for each inquiry-based science lesson that the teacher provides for their students. There's also a space to record observations and, of course, evidence and data to help inform instruction. One of the benefits of using a task analysis form like this is that it can be used for different content areas inside that framework of an inquiry-based science lesson. This is an example of a task analysis that would be appropriate for a student in that same class. The steps align directly to the steps on the teacher's task analysis. We would anticipate a student using a laminated task analysis and with a dry erase marker, completing each step by indicating that they did it independently or by themselves, or that they did it with help. This process helps the student as they begin to set goals for themselves. If the student needed more support, we would still use the same steps of the task analysis that are aligned to the teacher's task analysis, but make the level more accessible for the student. In this example, I would suggest that instead of the student completing the task by indicating if they did it independently or with support, they would simply remove each task from their task analysis. Another way to modify a task analysis that looks like this is by simply skipping steps. I would recommend that all students do all steps, but this is an easy way to modify the task analysis based on students' needs. The slide that's currently displayed shows resources I used when I created this presentation. The two highlighted items were used heavily. The first one is a textbook and the second one is an article. But all of them are great resources if you'd like to learn more about task analysis. In addition to that, you can head to the AIM module. They're wonderful resources, and there is one specific to task analysis that's very beneficial and has a lot of great information. Students can use task analysis to self-monitor during academic tasks. Using task analysis to self-monitor can provide a natural opportunity to build other self-determination skills, such as self-evaluation and goal setting. Task analysis also aids in assessment and data-driven instructional decisions. Task analysis is a measurement procedure that has several advantages for classroom assessment. There's also practical reasons for using task analysis in the classroom. It decreases independence in students and reduces needs for one-on-one support. Task analysis can be differentiated easily for all students in the same instructional unit. Research supports using task analysis both as a teacher tool for planning and implementing systematic instruction, and for students to use to increase their independence. Thank you to Taryn Wade, my colleague, and my advisor, Dr. Jenny Root, for their advice and support in creating this presentation, and I hope that it was beneficial.